You ever look at your payslip, see that nice big number, and then look at your bank account and just wonder where the rest of it went? Yep, it's a feeling we all know. Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the 10 core financial ideas that are running the show with your money, whether you realize it or not.
I mean, this right here says it all. You get that email showing you earned $2,000, but then the deposit notification is for something way smaller. It's that little gut punch, right? Knowing that a huge slice of your hard work just, poof, vanished before you even got to say hello to it.
So seriously, where does it go? And what is it doing out there? Because it's not just disappearing into thin air. In this explainer, we're going to follow the money. We're going to uncover all those invisible systems that are working behind the scenes of your own personal economy.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the automatic stuff. The money that moves in and out without you lifting a finger. You can think of this as like the essential plumbing of your financial life.
And the biggest automatic deduction, of course, is taxes. Now, it's easy to get grumpy about them, but here's the deal. They're basically the subscription fee we all pay for a society that actually works, paying for everything from the roads we drive on to schools and public safety.
And the government has a few different ways of collecting that fee. You've got your income tax, which comes right off your paycheck. There's sales tax on stuff you buy, capital gains tax when your investments do well, and then you have Social Security, which you can think of as a forced savings plan for when you're older, and Medicare, which is all about funding healthcare for seniors.
Okay, so what about the money that actually makes it into your bank account? You might picture it sitting in some giant, dusty vault with your name on it, but that's not really how it works. A bank is actually more like a financial matchmaker.
Here's the inside scoop. It's something called fractional reserve banking. See, you deposit your money, right? The bank keeps just a tiny piece of it on hand, and then it loans out almost all the rest to someone else who wants to buy a house or start a business. This whole system is actually what fuels the economy. It turns all our saved money into active, moving capital.
And if you're thinking, hold on, is my money even safe then? The answer is, for the most part, yeah. In the US, your deposits are typically insured by the government for up to $250,000. So even if your bank gets into trouble, your money, up to that limit, is protected.
All right, now we're getting into the fun stuff. These are the tools that are kind of like a double-edged sword. They can be incredibly powerful for building your wealth, or they can be super destructive. It all just depends on which side of the deal you're on.
You know, at the very heart of almost all of finance is this one simple idea: interest. And the easiest way to get it is to think of it as rent from money. If you borrow money, you pay rent on it. If you lend your money to someone else, well, then you get to collect the rent.
And that right there shows you the two faces of interest. When you're borrowing, think about a credit card with a high rate. Interest is this relentless enemy, always working against you. But when you're saving or investing, it becomes your best employee. It works 24/7, never sleeps, and its only job is to make your money grow.
And this is where things get really wild. It's called compounding. With debt, it's a nightmare. Interest piles on top of interest, and suddenly that $12 burrito you put on your credit card becomes a $50 regret. But with investing, oh, it's like a cheat code for wealth. Your money starts making its own money, which then starts making even more money.
Next up, let's talk about your credit score. This is so important to understand. This number has nothing to do with how much money you have. It is simply a grade on how trustworthy you are with money. That's it. It just answers one question for lenders. If we loan this person some cash, are we going to get it back?
So how is this score even calculated? Well, look at this. The biggest piece of the pie, by far, is just your payment history. Do you pay your bills on time? Boom. The next biggest thing is your credit utilization. That's just a fancy way of saying how much of your available credit you're using. If you keep that number low, it shows you're not stretched too thin. Honestly, if you just nail those two things, you're most of the way there.
I absolutely love this analogy. It's so true. Your credit score is just like a pet. If you ignore it, it can make a total mess of your financial life. But if you take good care of it, it can be your best friend, helping you open doors to huge life goals, like getting that dream house.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit, because your personal finances don't exist in a little bubble. They're constantly being tossed around by these bigger economic weather patterns that affect all of us.
Let's start with inflation. And this quote nails it perfectly. You know that feeling? You buy a bag of chips and it feels lighter than it used to? That is inflation. It's this quiet, sneaky force that eats away at the power of your money. Your $5 is still $5. It just buys you less stuff than it used to.
And sometimes that economic weather turns into a full-blown storm. We call that a recession. Now, the official definition is at least 6 months of the economy shrinking. But what it feels like is job insecurity, businesses cutting back, and just this general feeling of everyone holding their breath and their wallets a little bit tighter.
But here's the thing to remember. Recessions aren't some kind of freak accident. They are a totally natural part of the economic cycle. Think of the economy like a big party. You've got the boom when everything's great, then the peak when things get a little too crazy. Eventually, the party has to wind down. That's the bust. And yeah, it can be painful, but it's always followed by a reset where we clean everything up and get ready for the next one to start.
All right, so up to now, we've mostly been on defense, just trying to understand the forces that are acting on our money. In this last section, we're shifting gears. We're going on offense. This is all about how you can actively take control and start building wealth.
And the main way you go on offense is by investing. This is where you flip the script. Instead of trading your time for money, you start making your money work for you. You can do that by buying stocks, which are just tiny little slices of a company, or bonds, where you're basically the bank. Or you can buy funds, which are kind of like pre-made baskets of different investments all bundled together.
But to really get a handle on building wealth, you have to understand the idea of value. And here's the secret. Value is just a shared belief. A plain old rock is just a rock. But a shiny yellow rock, gold, is incredibly valuable. Why? Only because for thousands of years we've all agreed that it is. And that's the key. If you can create something that other people agree has value, you can build wealth.
And that brings us to the single most powerful ingredient in this whole recipe. It's not a hot stock tip, it's not some secret strategy, it's just time. The real, mind-blowing magic of investing and building wealth is unlocked by giving your money a long, long runway to grow and compound on itself. So, let's wrap it up with this one final thought. All of these concepts we've talked about, taxes, banks, credit, investing, they all kind of orbit around this one central force. You are either paying interest or you are earning it. The system is either working for you or it's working against you. And the truly amazing thing is, you get to choose which side of that equation you want to be on.